Okay, I'm starting recording now, and now let me share the slide and let's see. Just a minute. Yeah, so there's going to be a bit of me. So, Ruwan, you see this degree here, this one? This is what I'm talking about. And actually, to be a teacher now in Finland, it's since most of the schools are not like a company, it's one of the requirements that any teachers need to have. It is in Finnish, it is ammatillinen opettajakoulutus. But in English, it is a professional teacher education. So it is a postgraduate education after your master's, and it is a 60 credit point plus a project at the end. So that gives you that qualification. So with this one, you can actually teach from vocational, polytechnic, and university. But if you want to teach in high school, then you need to have at least a degree, a master's level degree in education. That is what I'm actually doing now. Hopefully, I get to finish by this year. Just left with the thesis, so I'll be able to do that. And then once I'm able to do that, what it means is that I can then teach from daycare all the way to the university.
So you're going to be young then, right? Because dealing with even younger people now after that.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that from daycare all the way. So I don't know if you have the time. We can talk about it later, but when you have the time, we can look into it and see. So as I told you, my background, I started here as in a bachelor level. So I did my Bachelor of Engineering, and then I did my master's, and then between my master's and the professional teacher education, I did some programs as well. And currently I'm doing my other master's in education as well. So a bit about myself, and I'm going to share from a story. I'm going to share a story of someone to you, and hopefully you'll be able to get an insight and how. So a short story. So I'm going to talk a story about this guy here.
I can recognize.
You recognize this guy?
Yes.
Okay, well, so this guy, I had the opportunity after finishing his high school, had the opportunity to travel to Finland as a result of a family friend who make that recommendation. So in 2004, to be precise, October 10th, so I came here when it was quite cold. The first academic period was over. The second academic period was ending. And typically when you miss at least 2 periods, it's very difficult for you to catch up. It means that you have to take extra year to finish. But I was able to finish the program, and then from there moved on to do my practical training in a company, which later I end up working there for almost 7 years until the 2008 economic this thing. Then I had to go back to school to re-educate, I would say to re-educate myself as a result of the changing going on in the market, or in the transition going on in the economy. So this is something that you could also think of, that as an individual. Of course, we'll talk about the trends, and we'll talk a little bit more about this as well. As an individual, it's also quite important to try to assess your environment and find out what is the changes going on. And as a result, that could help you to figure out where or how to adapt to the ongoing changes in the job market. So even though this person started this is the person. So you can see the transition that has occurred. So it wasn't something that
happened to me as well. Hair is good.
Okay, good. So it's not something that you can see there's a huge change. There is a huge transformation. And that huge transformation has a story behind it. And today I'll be a bit vulnerable with you to see how I've been able to do it, and particularly how I've been able to achieve to reach where I am today, and to also let you know that as a foreigner living in Finland, the challenges will come in, but the way you tend to handle it is going to determine how successful or how how you can move forward in your career. I had to change career to do what I am now, currently as a talent coach in VAMP. I'm going to talk to you about some things, a model also that I developed that answer this or show and indicate this transformation. But before I go that, there is this graduate capital model that Michael Tomlinson came up with. And it's talking about, as a student, when you graduate, there are 5 key areas that you need to really also focus on. So first, you have to, as a graduate, you need to develop your human capital, meaning that your hard skills, your job performance and stuff, your interaction with people. And I think we've discussed some part of this. Also, your social capital, your social network, the people, the relationship you build, those things that will help you to actually develop that will help you connect to the right career path, or those people that can help you to reach your goal or your targets in the work life. Also, the cultural capital, meaning that in this case, living in Finland, what does it mean to be a Finn? This is also extremely important. Identity capital, who you are, and that is where we're actually going to focus more today. Who am I? And then you have the psychological capital that determine your self-efficacy, adaptability, vulnerability, flexibility, basically how to be a water to be able to survive, thrive, and flourish in Finland. So as I said, the target is going to be the identity capital. And if you notice this course, we are talking a lot of identity. It may sound a bit repetitive to some extent, but I would really appreciate that you take this. You might not understand it today, but eventually at some point, you understand why I put a lot of emphasis when it comes to this. If you look at this chart, the reason why I'm emphasizing on this was a survey, a questionnaire that was actually sent to a lot of companies by Dunitori. It's one of the websites whereby you can find jobs. They sent to the companies that hire people, and they asked them a series of questions as to which of the following is the most important when it comes to employability. And if you can see the list, you have everything: education, reference, result, personality, everything. But one thing they spoke about most is this one. This is the number 2. The personality that fits the company's culture. So it's about you. Even your skills comes later. So you are the key person. So if your personality is not that great, you cannot have a long-lasting career success in that company that you've dreamt of working for. So here you can see the list. It starts with the motivation towards the task. Second one is personality that fits the company's culture before your previous experience even comes in. So here it is quite clear that your human, when you come to here, your identity capital is extremely, extremely important. So this is why I actually realized that as a foreigner here, and I think last week we also mentioned that there are a lot of changes which we'll look into later on that we need to recognize. For instance, in our culture, most of the decision making are done by who? By our relatives. We rarely have our own personal opinion on decision making. But here in Finland, you have to decide everything on yourself. So the individualistic aspect of it is high here. I hope you did the Hofstede dimension exercise. The individualistic is actually very, very high in Finland. So if you are an individual and you have to think, plan, and do everything for yourself. Now the question is, who are you? This is why I asked the question, who am I? Hence, it is very important for us to know who we are as an individual. So I understand also that as an individual, we want to be the star of our lives, particularly when we are students. And to be able to be successful when it comes to this, we need to focus on our education as much as we can. So this is one of the proposed theory that or model that I have created as an individual to help students as well. As students, we are really tough, and I respect every student because of the kind of stress that you have to go through, exams, classes, essays, assignment, and all those kinds. So this is why I call it tough. Now, as a student, you are tough. But even though you are tough, at the same time, you also have a lot of time, opportunity, and freedom to make decisions on your own. But the question is, where or how do you distribute your time? Where does it go? So I thought of creating this model to give a guidelines, a roadmap that, look, you are the star, but for you as a star, there are key aspects for you to focus on before you can excel and call yourself a star. So as a student, your education is extremely important. So I want you guys to focus on it as much as you can, because whatever, remember when we did the KPI, the KPT is also connected to your education as well. So also your family, especially for those who come here with family, you also need to find a way to balance your education and your family. If you have a job, for instance, Ruwan, you mentioned of having a gig job. When do you say, okay, I'm going to work 10 hours, and when do you say I'm going to work 3 hours? When you take time away from family, and when do you take time to support the family or to be with the family, it's also quite important. Social network. If you notice, I did not say network. I said no social network. And as you see, it's also one of the key aspects from this graduate capital. It is very, very important for you to get to build groups or people around you that could help you to become who you are, and most importantly, to support your career and also to support your life and existence here in Finland. So you need to go outside your comfort zone, make friends, find some hobbies, find some activities that you could meet Finns. And the reason is that most of the jobs, as I mentioned last time, are not advertised. Sometimes the bosses, they just ask the colleague, hey, do you know someone that can do this job? So if you have a good social network or social connection, then they can make a recommendation for you or recommendation about you, and then you get into the job market. And then finally, self-care. This is one aspect that I also would like you to start thinking of. What kind of food do you put in your body? Do you exercise enough? Do you move enough? Your mental health and all those things come. So these are the 5 key aspects that I think is very, very crucial and quite important for you as an international living here, particularly as a student, because as you know, the kind of food you eat often determine the level of your cognitive functioning. And there are a lot of articles and publications that proves that there is a bi-directional correlation between your brain and your stomach. So if you eat bad food, for instance, only sugary food, that can determine your level of cognitive functioning, how smart or how fast you're able to think and stuff. And if you choose to have good diets, that as well can also help you going forward. So I'll really recommend. I know most of our, how do you call it? Our diet involves a lot of carbs, but also try to involve a lot of grains and vegetables in your diet as much as you can, and also a lot of protein as much as you can, so that you can build good physical strength. In order to do this, it requires discipline and dedication. So you have to discipline yourself. And discipline is one of the branches of self-development. You need to discipline yourself. There are occasions that sometimes you don't want to do things, but you have to do it. I'll tell you an experience that, for instance, after working from morning till evening, I sometimes feel like I just want to go home and just sit in the sofa, watch some movie, but I still push myself to go to the gym and spend at least an hour to an hour and a half there. The beginning is always tough, but after half an hour, I get into the mood. And so you have to, even though self-discipline simply means doing the things that you don't feel like doing, but it has to be done. So assignment on time, appointment with people, anything that involves this. And in this case, particularly, when you look at this 5 aspects of your life, it is very important to make sure that, of course, 1 or 2 you skip it, but try as much as possible to discipline yourself to the extent that you look at this aspect extremely, extremely carefully. So my question to you now is that if you look at this, do you think you are tough now? Or do you think you are tough enough?
No, not at all. It's bias.
Sorry?
It's bias. Totally
Okay.
biased towards working life
Okay.
and less priority to the self-care and somewhat in social network.
Okay.
And then comes the education and then comes the family.
Okay.
I'm really feel bad about myself because of that.
Okay. Okay. Shiny, what do you think?
Yeah, my social networking is not very good.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, work life, of course. Yeah, it is biased towards work life and education, and I try my best to give priority to family as well. Self-care comes last. Yeah.
Well, at least this is a kind of like a model for you to look at. It's good to use also this to assess yourself. Which part am I lacking? And I'm really happy that you said your social network is not that good. So now the question is, what do you think you can do to develop this? And one way that you can actually do to develop this is by looking at yourself. What interests you? What hobbies are you interested in? Is it sewing? Is it cooking? Is it some sport that really you find enjoying? Is it reading books? And then the next step is, where in my environment do they do this? If you go to the city, you ask people, and then you join. And this is how you actually create the network, the social network. Because to be honest with you, if you have all the rest and this aspect is lacking, it can be detrimental. Remember, we are social beings and we need to talk to people. We need to chat with people. We need, especially now that it's summer, all your classmates, they are working, they are not at home, or they have something going on. So you cannot say, okay, I just stay at home or no. So this summer is actually for you to build a good social network for the winter. this is the best time to do it. Why? Because things are out, it's sunny. They are more in their element, laughing. So it's much easier for you to approach them. So I will highly recommend that ask yourself that question. I'm not in a place to answer that for you, but I am sure that you'll be able to answer that. What do I enjoy doing at my leisure time? Could it be cricket?
If it is going towards winning side, yes, cricket. But
yeah, if it is cricket, if it's not cricket, is it badminton? If it is tennis, is it table tennis? Is it painting, sculpture? I mean, you ask yourself that question or make a list. And then once you finish that list, you arrange them to the most important. Which one do you feel comfortable more? And then you just Google, I don't know, your environment. Reading club in La Paranta, reading club in Hagaelia, reading club in... Something will definitely pops up. You will definitely find someone. And then you reach out, hey, I really enjoy reading and I have some books and now, when is your next meeting or when are you having the next meeting? I understand that starting can be a bit challenging. The first part can be a bit challenging, picking up the phone or copying the email and sending the email. But this is part of you. This is something that you have to do. It's the same thing that looking for work. It's not just sending the email or sending the CV, or sending the cover letter. You need to follow up as well. Calling that, hey, excuse me, I just wanted to check if you received my application. Oh, yes, we did. Well, I just want to tell you that I'm very interested in this job and I hope you give me that consideration. Not many people does this. And it's simply because it's very difficult. It's going out of your way. And if you can do that, at least with time, it's also build your confidence. You get me. It also build your confidence. How to approach people is also important. So this is how you build your social network. So I really recommend that at least Shiny, you've recognized this. I want you to develop some skill set. And if you need help, we can talk about it later on how to develop this, which area and how to focus on it. There are so many materials online that I could share with you, videos on YouTube that I also use myself. I'm not a super person. I'm also learning as much as you are. The only thing is that maybe I'm 3-4 steps ahead of you.
That's not a small steps, big steps.
Exactly. Remember what they said, little drops of water, what makes a mighty ocean. So these small steps that you take, it counts. It absolutely counts. So I want you to push yourself as much as you can to make sure that at least you cover this aspect of your life. Okay? Let's go forward. So this is one of the models that I created personally for students to find a way to balance their life, especially internationals living here in Finland. Now, there is a second model that I also created to also help you to identify yourself. And this is what I call the tri-assessment factor pyramid. So what does it mean? We all know what a pyramid looks like. So in this case, I have a pyramid, but this pyramid is divided into two. We'll see why it is a bit divided into two. And it has 3 core aspects. And these core aspects are, I think, in my opinion, highly important in order to find yourself, understand yourself, and also to be able to have a flourishing life in Finland. Or even if not in Finland, any environment you find yourself. Now, change. We all know that the only constant thing in life is what? Is change. As you saw my picture, you saw how I have transitioned, how I have changed from that skinny guy to that handsome guy.
So that.
Yeah. So that's the only constant change. That's the only constant thing in life is change. There's nothing that we have today that hasn't gone through change. The mobile phone we use, the clothes we wear, the computer we are using, even our physical metamorphosis, our eyes, our nose, our level of hearing, our sensitivity, the skin, everything goes through change. But the fact is that every change means pain. Do you agree with me? There is no change without pain. So as much as you can endure the challenges you are going through now, I can tell you that it's going to be positive. I can guarantee you. I've been through it. So change is one thing that we've established that is constant. So when we look at ourselves as an individual, we are also changing day by day. If I ask you, who were you even just yesterday? You're a completely different person. Even if you check your weight, either you've added or you've either you've added or you decrease. So you are no more the same person. So there is change going on. But the most important change that I think you need to pay attention also is the change of you, who you are as an individual. I am quite sure that the person you were in your country and the person you have here in Finland is completely different. You are learning new things. You are figuring out new things. You have to learn the Finnish language. I can already hear how much you are complaining about it, but you have no option. You have to learn about it. It's part of the change. You need to add that language to already existing languages that you have. So we know that this is quite crucial and it is very, very important. But the funny thing is that as a result, during the phase of personal development, as humans, some of us have gotten to the level that, we think, I'm okay, I'm done. I'm not going to develop, I'm not going to grow, I'm not going to become something even much better. The fact is, each one of us are destined for something, but we don't know what it is. The only way we can find out is to continually improving ourselves. And when you look at our environment today, the human species is the only living thing. I repeat, the human species is the only living thing that can say, I've had enough growth. I'm not growing anymore. And we do this either through the food we eat, our environment, and decision-making when it comes to our life choices. But when you look at trees, animals, and stuff, they continue going. They continue going. Trees can grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. But for we humans, my bachelor is enough. I have a job. I'm done. I live my life. But there's no tree that will say, no, I've already grown 1 meter. Oh, that's enough for me. Nope. They grow and grow and grow and grow and grow until either they fall or they are cut down. So why not, as humans, we also emulate that kind of attitude? And in order to do this, we need to develop also a level of extreme level of curiosity as an individual to find out what drives me. How can I develop? How can I even be the best, the most perfect person that I could be? Constant, you can change, you can move. Some characters that you have that you think are challenge, you can easily forget about them or find a way to improve them. Personally, I will tell you that one thing is that due to our culture, for instance, I'm from Ghana, and in West Africa, especially the English-speaking countries in West Africa, which Ghana belongs to, we have a lot of this sense of community. And whenever we meet, the way we talk very fast, very loud, I know you can very fast, very loud, but I notice that whenever I'm talking to Finns or talking to people, gradually people started pointing this out to me. So I had to also make some changes, meaning that I need to start monitoring how I speak. You can see that how calm I am. I wasn't like that before. But because of the external feedback that I got from people, I had to make that switch, that change. And now I'm quite surprised that when I'm talking to people, they say, wow, you are so calm. Then I say, whoa, you wouldn't say that 5 years ago. So it is highly and quite important for us to also be quite observant and curious in understanding this and acknowledge that change is good for me. It will be painful, but at the end, the reward pays off a lot. So that is the first aspect of the pyramid. The second aspect is very close to one of the stars, which is the social network, and also acknowledging that I'm in a new and completely different culture. In this case, the Finnish culture. So you need to learn to immerse yourself. In Christianity, immersion is used in baptism, that they put you in what basically you are put in the water. So you kind of get into something. So I will really ask you to also find a way to immerse yourself into the Finnish culture. Don't isolate yourself. Try as much as possible to immerse yourself. This past weekend, not married, I was in Helsinki, and I don't know if you heard, there was this Helsinki Samba Carnival, and I was there playing with some of the Samba school. And to be honest, when I look around, there are not many foreigners around playing or enjoying or participating. It is part of the Finnish culture. So I chose to give myself that exposure. They did not pay me anything. I pay my hotel, I pay my transportation, but just to be able to be part of something and to understand the Finnish culture to an extent. This is how I do to immerse myself. Another aspect that you can also use to immerse yourself is also when it comes to the aspect of the language. I know it is said, or people say, that the language is quite difficult. But one thing about languages is a means of communication. And in any communication, it doesn't matter the context of it. It doesn't matter how you say it. But what matters is that, what am I passing across? Do you understand what I'm saying? And there's this level of perfection that I need to speak Finnish perfect. You don't have to. Is that okay? The little you learn, try to practice it. This is what I tell a lot of my clients and my students, that, look, if you learn some Finnish, this is a tip I'm going to borrow it to you. When you go to your Finnish for foreigner classes and you learn something, it doesn't matter whether it's a phrase, a sentence, a word. When you find yourself in a place where you can use it, please try to use it. So a good example would be going to the shop. So when you go to the shop, don't start with English. Start with the little Finnish you have. Okay, for instance, you want to find help. You start with the Finnish. And then when you can't speak any further, then whoever you are asking the help from, you just tell the person that, look, my Finnish is Finnish. See, I'm smiling. And what it does is that, you see, the smile that you just smile is that with emotions, people break up, they relax. And then they are even more willing to help you. Because laughter, smile brings emotions. And emotions, the brain always attaches something positive to it. So if you're able to use some of these tricks, it's going to help you a lot. That the person says, oh, wow, I understand. You actually started well. I'm glad. How long have you been speaking Finnish? Oh, I just came 6 months. Wow, you are really doing well. And from there, you can start having this small chat, and you never know what could come out from. So that could also be a technique from also building the social network that you wanted. So immersion is very, very important. So as I said, the language, culture, all aspects of culture, the music, the exposure to the food, try as much as possible to at least do this. Have you ever had a mami before? Do you know what's mami? Do you know the Finnish food mami?
Mami.
Yeah.
Yes, but not in my time, sadly.
How does it look like?
It's like what do you call? There was like one similar to the same in Sri Lanka. I can't remember the name.
Okay, I think you are talking of something different. Mami is
You
kind of
mean
like,
the sweet, right?
it's not
Mummy
a
is the
sweet.
sweet, right?
It's not
Okay, okay.
sweet. It's not sweet.
Yes, yes.
Mami is it dark brown, black? It's usually eaten during Easter in Finland.
Drink.
No, it's kind of like, it's a semi-solid food, something that they eat during the Easter period. So it's very, very traditional to Finland. Most internationals don't like it because the taste is a bit not too sweet, it's a bit. But I've been told that when you have it with cream, it tastes much better. When I had it without anything, so the experience was different. Or you can also have it with milk. So it is a traditional Finnish food that is eaten in Easter. So I would recommend that you have a try. Just give it a try and see. So this is part of the food. At least learn the Finnish food. Find people at least. Have you ever been to any of the summer cottages? Do you have any? Well, you don't have any social, so you haven't yet been to a summer cottage. So these are part of the Finnish culture. These are part of the ways that you can immerse into the Finnish society. Now, the last one is the personal development. And as today's course is also, as we've mentioned earlier on, is how for you to build your character. And we'll look more into that after this personal concept. We are going to develop it further, and that you'll be able to learn how to develop yourself as an individual. So now the triangle, the pyramid, it seems to be complete. But to balance these three aspects, there's something that I want you to also pay attention to. The first one is goals. Now, my question to you is that when last did you make a list of your goals? Or have you ever made a list of your goals?
But it's changing, sir. Always.
Sorry?
It's changing.
It's changing, okay. No. It will change. But have you ever written them down?
You asked the same question last week. Not recently. No.
Shiny, how about you? Have you ever written them down?
It's all in the head, not written.
Wait. I can remember when I was doing my A levels, I did something like that.
Okay.
I'm going to pass A level with flying colors, something like that.
Okay.
That's the last time I wrote. That is back in like 15 years.
Wow, that's pretty long. I'm sure. So this is what I'm going to do with you now. I want you to find a plain sheet of paper now. Shining, please find a plain sheet of paper.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, good. We are going to do a small exercise now. Now, I want you to write 10 goals. Don't worry about it, just anything. And it doesn't matter how small to how big. Maybe I want to build a mansion in the ocean. Please put it down. It's still a goal. It doesn't matter how small it is. It doesn't matter how small it is. I want you to start making the list, 10 goals. Just write them down now. Anything that comes to your mind, anything that comes to your mind, let it. Do not limit yourself when it comes to the goals writing. Do not limit. Remember, anything that is manifested in real life starts from where? From the subconscious mind. The house in which you are, someone sat down and drew it, and now is this a reality? And that is what goals does. The ability for you to create and to picture and to imagine how your life will be in the future will help the conscious mind to move towards that direction. And this, I will tell you, all the successes I've had in life, I've always, even this job I'm doing now, I've always dreamt of doing it. And for some reason, here I am today. The only thing that is subjected to goals is change. And change is equal to what? Time. So just write anything that comes to your mind. Well, I want to work in, I don't know, Accenture, or I want to build my own business, to I want to travel around the world, to I want to have I don't know, wonderful kids, to whatever the goals may be. I want to buy my own house in Finland after 5 years. I want to get a job. And then with that job, the minimum pay, you can also write it. How much do you want them to pay you per month? You can also set that goals for yourself. Another thing is, how much do you want to make every month? What could be the amount you want to earn every month? After the next 2 months or after a year, how much income do you want to have? We'll come back to, there's one small aspect that I also include, that's financial freedom and security. How to do that, hopefully we have time to go through. So make the list of the goals. It doesn't matter how small. The more you can even write, the better. It is very, very important. The good thing about writing it down is that you are activating that part of your brain that is going to work on it. Because now all your senses are working. Your sense of touch is holding the pen. Sense of vision, you are looking at it already. You already start manifesting it in your head. You are already smelling. You are putting yourself in that place. So it is very, very important. This is why. And the last thing, the reason why it's good to make a list is to what? Is to strike through whenever you are done. Yes, I accomplished it. Yay! What do? I need to reward myself. Take yourself for a dinner or something. So that's the importance of setting goals for yourself, and particularly writing it down. So do you have it? So you can add more later. But now, the ones you have now, I want you to put 1, 3, or 5 in front. 1 means the goals that you think you can accomplish within 1 year. 3 means the goals that you would like to accomplish within the next 3 years. And then the 5 means the goals you want to accomplish within the next 5 years. So put 1 in front if it is 1 year you want to accomplish. Put 3, and then put 5 if you want to accomplish within the next 5 years. Are you done? Now, when you are done, now I want you to count how many 1s do you have, how many 3s do you have, and how many 5s do you have?
I wrote 8 goals.
Okay.
Out of that, no 5s.
No 5s. Okay. So how many 1s?
3.
And how many threes?
5.
5. Okay. Shiny?
I wrote 9 goals and only 1 goal with 1. One
Okay.
year within 1
Okay.
year, and 2 of 3 years, and 2 of 5. The rest, I think, they need much more time.
Okay.
Cannot accomplish within 5 years.
Hey, no. That's the word I don't want you to use. No, I'm serious. You see, that's the this is what we call self-limiting belief. You're already limiting yourself. And you shouldn't do that. The words you use for yourself, subconsciously, you start manifesting. So do not use can't. Don't say I cannot. So now I'm going to give you one more opportunity. Rewrite it. Look at it carefully, Shiny. Which one can you accomplish it within 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years? Rewrite it again. By forgetting that I cannot accomplish that, these are all possible for me to accomplish. I want you to renumber them again. And let's see what will happen. Don't limit yourself.
Okay, in the meantime, I added 2 another goals and those 2 again to 1.
I like that determination. This is what is going to drive you. Honestly, this is what is going to drive you. This is going to be your fuel in the next 12 months. This is what is going to push you to get to where you want to be. Yes, there are certain occasions that you might not. You can still extend the time. These goals are meant, they are not fixed. They are dynamic. As long as your mind is on it that this is what I need to accomplish and this is what I need to achieve. They are dynamic. Okay, so Shining, what do you think? Now, how many ones do we have now?
We have 3 ones now.
Yes. Okay, how many threes?
3 threes and
Good.
2 fives. Yeah.
You see what is going? Do not limit yourself. Okay. So now that we have, now you have to rearrange them. Okay, take a new sheet of paper, and then all the ones first, all the threes, and then all the fives. Now I want you to rewrite them now, and write all the ones comes first, all the threes, and then all the fives. So just rearrange them. So we have all the ones first, followed by all the threes. If you have colors, you can color them, give them colors. If you want to use some asterisk or different design in front of them, make it more fun, more creative. Because this is you, this is your future. This is how you dream. This is where you want to be. This is what you want to accomplish. As a result of the change, the immersion, and the personal development. This is who you want to be. Because you want to also offer a good life for yourself and also for your family and friends around. Yeah. So when you are done, now that list, I want you to put sellotape it or glue it or whatever, put it somewhere that whenever you wake up in the morning is the first place you see. It could be at the back of your bedroom door, your kitchen cabinet, maybe your bathroom, the mirror, somewhere that you will look at it every single day, even if possible, multiple times a day. Just look at it, read through it. If you can take a picture on your phone and even use it as your screensaver, use it. Because this is what is going to drive you. This is what is going to tell you the reason why you are in Finland, the reason why you are taking this course, the reason why you want to be the best version of yourself, the reason why you want your family to have a successful and fulfilling life. This is what it's going to do for you. So please put it somewhere that you will always. And also this list, you can always update it. It's okay. Update it, change the time, but let it be the driving force for your existence here. And then the one aspect, now you see we've covered almost, but if you look at the triangle is a bit divided, meaning that the bottom side is quite big. Now, I want you to take a guess. What do you think can be there? I would like you to take a guess. What do you think would be in that final part of the pyramid? Sorry. What do you think could be there? Now we know that, okay, there is a change going on both within and outside of us. And also outside, there's physical change. For us, moving from our country to Finland, learning new language, tasting new food, macaroni, latiko, mashed potato, sausage, and all those kind of Finnish food. And also cultural immersion, the languages and stuff, and at the same time, developing yourself. What do you think is missing here? Just take a guess. Hmm? I think this is something if I remember, I think we mentioned or we might have spoken about it maybe briefly in previous classes. Okay. What do you think? This is very, very, very important. So the final part is gratitude. The ability to be thankful. Ability to wake up in the morning and whatever thing you believe in, you say, thank you for giving me another life. It means I'm able to what? Have one more day to achieve my goals. It means one more day for me to pursue my dreams. It means one more day for me to be where I want to be. That ability, that showing that gratitude is extremely important. And as humans, often we don't do this enough. Rather, what do? We complain for the things that we don't have instead of appreciate the things that we have. As humans, we usually focus on the things that we are lacking in our life. For instance, I don't have a job. My life is miserable. Whereas you have eyes, you have nose, you have hands, you have everything. Go to the hospital. See people with so many tubes all over themselves. They don't get the opportunity to walk or anything. Struggling to walk, but here you are. Yet you are still complaining. Gratitude. So it is very, very important. I want you guys to practice this as much as many times a day. If you go to the shop, someone did something small, thank you. Something small, thank you. Another aspect of gratitude is also doing something good for someone. Recently, there's been a research that's been published in human and the journal of something psychology, that it is very, very helping or doing something for someone actually helps us also. to show gratitude towards ourselves. So I would like you to, going forward, pay attention to this. It doesn't matter, something small. Hey, thank you very much. Hey, I really appreciate that. Hey, thank you. And whatever thing you believe in, if you believe in Allah, if you believe in some Buddha, if you believe in God, show gratitude through prayer, through anything that you can. Is it sacrifice? I don't know. Just do it. If you can do it the many times you do. And I'm telling you, this is something I started practicing maybe a year or two now. And I've never been happier than this. I'm not kidding you. Always smiling. And it's because always I find some small things to be thankful. Driving, or thank God for at least taking me from point A to point B without any incident. Thank God for being alive. Thank you for being able to use my senses, my eyes, my nose, my skin, everything. Do it as many times as you can. Even sometimes when things negative happen, hey, I've created that mindset that they happen for a reason. Because life is like a coin. It has two sides, the good and the bad. There's nothing in between. But often we only want the good side. But sometimes when the bad things happen, I've realized in my personal life is that they are meant to teach me something. Then I ask myself, what is that thing that I'm supposed to learn from this? And always there is always a teaching moment. So I would like you to start practicing. Look at it yourself. See how. When things are going bad for you, don't let that overshadow the good things in your life. When things doesn't go well, immediately switch your brain. It's actually a way of teaching your mind. And when you do this, you actually reduce anxiety, you reduce stress, panic attack, depression, everything goes. Once you start doing this, and the moment I've started, it has actually helped me quite a lot, that I'm able to transition when things are going bad. Hey, what good thing do I have going on in my life? I'm still here. My heart is breathing. I can move. I can run. I can play football. Wow. Woo. So I appreciate those things that I have. I don't focus on. And to be honest with you, I don't know how to tell you, but the things have really recently. I told you today, I'm going to be really vulnerable. Recently, I was in a situation whereby financially I don't know, but I don't want to think about it. And then whole and behold, I just got a text message from one of the Finnish institution. And then they said, hey, by the way, we actually owe you money. Can you apply? I'm not kidding you.
Waiting for that moment.
No, I'm not kidding you. I really was thinking, how am I going to pay some stuff? But I said, I don't need to think about it. They will take care of themselves. Let me focus on my life. And then the message came. I'm not kidding you. And I said, really? I did not believe it. So I booked for an appointment. I said they should call me. They called me. And then I said, hey, is it true that you guys said I can? They said, well, yeah, let us have a second check. We'll call you back. After a couple of days, I got the call. Yes, is it you? Yeah. And then they told me, yeah, you are right. You can do it. Just apply. And we'll tell you our decision. But you are entitled. At least for the past, they'll pay me back 6 months. I said, really? So it does work, honestly. Just focus on yourself. Focus on what you have. It's like, I always use this example. Like, it's like a kid. When Ruan, you have a child, right?
Two.
What happened when you give your child something and he or she doesn't say thank you and leaves and comes back and asks for another thing again?
I ask him and say thank you. That's obvious.
Good. You ask the kid to say thank you. Now, why are you asking the kid to say thank you? It's because you want that kid to show gratitude. And when the kid does that, what happens? When it comes back again, you are able to do what? Even give more, isn't it? So now look at ourselves. We have all this, we can breathe. There's no tube in our eyes, in our nose, and we are living, we have our hands, and yet we are still complaining. So why not let's thank the universe or whatever you believe in and see what is going to happen. So this is something I want you to start practicing. Please, these two, I want you to start practicing them. You might not understand, the beginning might be a bit challenging, but I'm sure at some point you say Francis was right. Or you might even send me a message. Wow, this thing did happen to me and I couldn't believe myself. And I will tell you truthfully, it does work. And actually makes you relax. You don't feel stress. You don't feel, it's really, I'll leave it there. So this is the other theory or the other model that I also created that you can also use for yourself, that you can use to help yourself to develop your skills and to develop your personality and to develop who you are as an individual. But you see the arrow? It means this arrow shows that line you see indicate there. It means there are going to be obstacles. There will be challenges. So do everything. There will be challenges, but your ability to stay focused and stay driven is what will help you excel. So that's the tri-assessment factor pyramid that you can use to assess yourself and also to appreciate who you are and to set goals for yourself. Any question? Am I making sense?
Yes, I wonder how the time fly.
Really? Well, this is what happens when we are talking about things that can benefit us. You don't know when the time goes. So the last one, I'll quickly go through it. This is where your personal development I think will focus on. So this is you. All what we've been doing so far is about what? You, not me. Well, also me as well. Now, as you are made up of what? Your mind, isn't it? Who you are upstairs. And also your self-concept. So these are what's basically, how do you see yourself? So your mind and how do you see yourself is very important. These two, when you put, this is what determine your personality or who you are as an individual. And this self-concept was actually developed by, I can't remember the name, I will tell you later, a psychologist. You can actually read more. And he mentioned about 3 core aspects of human life that when you talk about personal development, we need to really, really focus. The first aspect that he talks about is the self-ideal. So what does it mean, self-ideal? The other aspect was self-image. How do you want people to perceive you and how do you want people to see you? And then the final aspect is self-esteem, your confidence level and all those. Now let's look, what does it mean, self-ideal? Now when we talk about self-ideal, we are talking about your values, your goals, your dreams, and your hope. And this is why I made you to do that exercise, to write your personal goals out. Because this identifier is part of your self-concept, or which is your self-ideal. When you look at your self-image, do you like your hair? Do you like your beard? Do you like how you look in the mirror? Do you want to keep your beard or you want to shave it? So this is the self-image. And how do people even see you? How do you speak? I gave you an example of how I was speaking very fast. Do people find it interesting or happy to when you talk, does it captivate people? Your sight, how do you see things? How do you visualize things? These are all part of the self-image. The last aspect is what? Self-esteem. And you remember we talk about what? Emotional intelligence. Do you remember that? So the aspect of self-esteem is talk about your emotion, emotional intelligence, multiple intelligence. All these aspects come to your self-esteem, your confidence, everything comes to that aspect. So it is extremely important that these three core aspects of yourself, you look into it. I told you last time also is that nowadays people are becoming extremely visual. So your self-image is very, very important. How you dress when you are leaving home, how you groom yourself is very, very important. So I would like you to pay attention and spend some time to look at this aspect. I think in today's world, I will start with self-image, self-esteem, and then self-ideal, because we are becoming more visual. The way you look, people already start judging you even before even talking to you, even before opening your mouth. So this can be a bit challenging. When you go to an interview, how do you feel? How do you, your body posture, everything, all those things come to the self-image. So you need to really, really pay attention to this. And this is something that I mentioned earlier on. Be curious of your environment. Ask questions whenever you find yourself somewhere. Become observant as much as you can and stop judging people. It's also one thing, because we all have our own story. And remember, we are all changing. So the old us is different from the new us. We are also evolving. So please pay attention to that. Stop pointing fingers. People have the reason why they made certain decisions. Try to understand them, not blame them, not question them. Try to listen, not hear. It is very, very important. Give people a benefit of a doubt. And then this one is something I wanted to also talk to you about: financial freedom and security. I've noticed that as foreigners, often than not, we don't actually spend a lot of time on our finances. We don't plan. I'm going to share a few tips with you, how actually it has helped me to succeed and to be successful here. I was very fortunate when I first came to Finland and I went to open my bank account. Because of my personality, my self-esteem, the guy in the bank really felt, we got to know, we became friends. And he started advising me on how I should plan my life going forward. And I'm going to pass this also to you. How many of you have a bank account?
Yes, I had a great
okay.
effort. We made it. Yes.
Okay. How many of you have a savings account?
It is a savings account.
Do you have a savings account?
Yes.
You have a savings account?
Yeah, it is. Yes.
No, it is like how do you call it? There's a word. It's usually current account. It's not a savings account. Savings account meaning that you put money aside every month. How many do you have it? Every month? You don't?
No, in my country it was there. But,
okay, so this is I'm sharing some tips for you that you have to do. Every bank, you have the opportunity to open a savings account, or you can open a second bank account. Okay, this is the tip I want you to do. It's going to help you going forward, because there is inevitable that there will be challenges that will come. Okay, so there are two things that you can do. One, you can open a savings account, or you can go to your bank and buy monthly bonds or shares. It doesn't matter how much. It could be 10 euros every month. It could be 5 euros every month. You can do also these two. You can book a time with your bank, ask them what are the kind of this thing they have, and then go and talk to them. The savings account, let's start with that one. You can create a second account. Do not collect a card. Do collect nothing. And then in your bank account, set it automatically. If you are working and you get your money, let's say every 15th of the month, okay? Every 15th of the month, before you open the account, do your expenses. Live within your means. Do your expenses. Know all your expenses. And then at the end, how much do you have left? Okay? Is it 50 euros? Is it 100 euros? For just disposable. Out of that money, you can take a percentage, 10, 20% of it, 10 euros, 15 euros. Every month, you set it that automatically when you get your money on the 15th, on the 16th, that money should be transferred to the other account. The reason I'm telling you that a time will come that you'll be in a position, for instance, you want to buy an apartment, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a bicycle, you want to buy something that will make your life much more easy. This money that you've set aside can be used as down payment, or can even be used to pay off completely so that you don't have to owe. So I would recommend that you set that savings account on the side every month. If it is 10 euros or 20, sometimes you can even send more if you have more. What this is going to do is that now that you are within limited budget now, you start to teach yourself how to live within your budget, how not to overspend. And when the challenges comes, you have at least something to support yourself. And this fund, you should not touch it under any circumstance. It's not meant for you to travel abroad. It is your emergency fund. If you talk to any financial officer, they will tell you that you should have a minimum of 6 months fund in case you lose your job. At least you have 6 months to take care of yourself. And when you do this, what happens is that even though you lose your job, you still have at least right frame of mind. You are more relaxed to plan ahead. You are not stressed. There's no anxiety. There's no panic. You are much easier to develop yourself. This is something that no one is going to talk to you about in Finland as a foreigner. Because you don't have, for instance, if you go to take loan, they need guarantors. You don't have anybody that is going to guarantee for you. So you have to guarantee for yourself. And the only way you can do that is by having your own financial security, by your own financial backup. So open a second account, do it this week. You can do it online or go to the bank that you want to open a saving account. And then every month, if it is 10 euros, 5 euros, just send it there. If you can have more, do it. If you have less, it is very, very important that you do this. You understand what I'm saying? My life is much more better just simply because of this. I'm not kidding you. This small advice that this man gave me really helped me transition my life to where it is today. Today, I have my own apartment, my own car. I'm able to afford. No one has to guarantee for me. So they use these savings as a down payment. And a good thing in some cases, even that they use it as a down payment, but they will not take that money. The money is still yours until you pay maybe 10% of the loan that you've taken. Then the money comes back to you. So that is one, savings account. Two, if you want, I don't know which bank you are using. They have in Finland, in Finnish, it's called osake. That means shares or whatever. Each bank sells, they have something that go and find them. you can also buy that. If every month, even if it is €5, you pay. The good thing is that it increases value. The value increases. So in Finland, the initial principal, they don't tax it. The profit you make on it is what is taxed. So that is also a form of savings. So if you put €10 there, you buy €10 today and tomorrow it is worth €12. If you are selling, you can sell, they will only tax you on the what? On the €2 different. So you still have your own €10 left. And this is something you need to have for the long term. Because to be honest, I know that some of you, you will not live, you would like to stay here for a very long time. So you need to plan for the future, your retirement and everything. You need to start looking and thinking about that. So this is where that money goes. So that is for your long-term goal, 10, 20 years down the road. The shares will accumulate with time and the value will increase. So this is something I will advise that you also do. Go to the bank, talk to them. Every bank has some sort of this thing that they sell. Buy that. If it is €5 every month, you buy, you contribute. And I'm not kidding you. You understand that in extremely worst case scenario, if you want the savings, you can touch the savings, but these shares, I would recommend that you don't touch it. In the US, they call it 401k. It's part of your retirement. Yes, in Finland, they deduct retirement, but to be honest with you, it is not that much, depending on how long you work and how much your income is. So if your income is less and you retire, some people, I know some people, or I've heard some people at the end, if they go, you get only, I think, €200-300 retirement money. That cannot even pay your rent. But if you can do these shares, then you can tap into that as part of your. So these are the two advice I will give you for financial freedom and financial security. It will really help you going forward. And it will also teach you how to live within your means. And it's also going to build your future. Once you start your career and you want to acquire certain things, it's going to also help you quite a lot. At some point, you want to, with your family, you want to have your own house or your own apartment. This is what can help you, especially when you don't have anybody to guarantee for you. So please, I want you to do this. It's going to, you understand, most of this thing I'm saying, you might not understand now, but after 5 years, it's going to be the best advice I think you've ever. And it also makes you discipline yourself when it comes to financial management. Finally, when it comes to finance, you can also choose cash instead of card. So every week, you put yourself a budget. I'm only spending €50. So you go and withdraw €50. That's the money you are spending. You don't go, because when you have the card, what happens? You just swipe left, swipe right. You keep on just swiping. And then you look, oh, it's just 15. And I'm already run out of finance. So instead of card, deal with cash. That's the third advice I'll give you. And this is going to help you to live within your means. And if you're able to do that, you're actually not stressed. You have a good sound mind. You're able to think about your goals and way to set forward. So that's one thing I'll also add to us. So remember, all what we've been talking is about what? It's about you. And I will leave you with this quote. What you become will determine your success. So this is Jim Rohn. It's one of my favorites. You can watch a lot of his video on YouTube. It says that success is what you attract by the person you have Remember, the emphasis is you have become. So who you are today and your success today is a reflection of who you are now. So imagine if you could make the change and take into consideration everything we've spoken about today. This is going to determine how successful you are going to be going forward in the future. For me, my success today is as a result of the person I am today. If I want to increase my success, I have to increase or change who I am. Either to learn more skills, to improve myself, to learn more language, or something in me has to change. So remember that your current state is not as a result of anybody, but rather it's as a result of you, the decisions that you've made so far up to this point. And now when you look at your goals, these are for the future. Now the question is, what are the things I need to do to become that person that needs to achieve those goals? And that is the trend or the track I want you to start following. It is very, very important. So remember, success is what you attract by the person what you have become. So I ask you to follow me on LinkedIn. I post some stuff on LinkedIn as well every now and then when it comes to some of this, so you can follow me. I don't think we have time to do this workshop, but it's basically using the SWOT analysis to identify yourself. So if you want, you can do this as an assignment. I'll use myself as an example so that you understand what you are going to do. Is that okay? You could do this as an assignment. First, if you look at this first one, strength and weakness, this is within you. And these opportunities and threats, they are external. So you need to first identify that. Now, for me, I like speaking. I like communicating. My weakness is that sometimes it can be what? Oversharing. Okay? What are the opportunities I can do if I'm a good speaker? I can be a coach. I can be a teacher. I can be a mentor. I can be a speaker. So you see how I'm using this to analyze myself. But now the question is, what are the threats? Is qualification in this case, especially living in Finland. For you to be a coach, a teacher, you need to have this qualification. So here, when you are able to do this analysis, you automatically realize that these are the two areas that you need to work on in order to accomplish this. So I need to work on my communication, when to speak and when to keep my mouth shut. And also, here also the same thing. If I want to be a teacher, mentor, I need to work on my qualification. And that's something I'm also working on now. I hope you understand. So this is a brief workshop something that I would like. So this is an example from my own perspective. This is something you can also do for yourself. Okay. So that's for today. I hope we are still. Okay. So just 2 minutes more. So anything to say? You have anything in mind? What do you think about today? Is it what you expect? Do you know who you are now? Or do you have the tools to figure out who am I?
I have the tools, but I found that who you are actually.
Now you find out who, because that's what I said. That yes. Today is going to be from my perspective.
Yes.
You know, living here, how I've been able to do it. So now I want you to use my story or my transition for that, so that you can see how, because these are the ways how I've been able to do it. And I think you see a bit of yourself in what I've discussed now, and you can take part, or you can take some inspiration from it as well. So what do you think?
Yes. Why not? many things that.
So Shiny, what are your thoughts? Now you know who I am. What do you think now?
Yeah, I have started to think who I am now, and I'm really glad that I joined today for the class, for the lecture.
I'm
That's
glad
really
to.
great. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Ruwan, you know who I am. Who are you now?
Yes, processing now. I have to think. Think more and more.
Yeah, and I do understand it's not something that you switch, that it's over. No. For me, it's taking me this year 19 years to be where I am. There's been a lot of pains, a lot of challenges, a lot of stuff. Some I don't think I would like to go to it, but those that I think will be beneficial to you are the ones I've shared with you. And of course, you have my email. You can also, on LinkedIn, you can send me a message if you want to discuss something or going through some challenges that you need perspective. I'll be willing to support and help you, because one of my goals is also for you to even be much more successful than I am. That I look at the TV and I say, oh, yeah, Shiny, I know her. She used to be my student. That's my pride, you know? So just feel free, reach out if there's anything. Okay?